All right. Next you have this bearing right here. It has a ridge on the side here. On the outside, that part goes down. If you put it upside down, it won't be right. So it goes down. And next you have this shell here. Now this is going to go into the splines of the clutches that's there. So you have to twist it until it goes to the bottom. There you go. And when it goes to the bottom, you hear it like that. It's against that bearing. Then you have another bearing. Look how this one looks. Alright, this part, ridge goes down like that. Don't go up, go down. Alright, so this shell here is going down in hard. Then you have this part here, and this piece goes on here. You have a washer or another bearing, or here's the bearing, and it rides on here. So it goes like that. You have a little bearing in here, right here. So make sure that stays in there. You don't lose that. Put some grease on here so it can stay put. Now put that there. All right. We are heading in our direction. All right, so now we got this part here. This is the input shaft. And on the upper side is the clutches here. These always burn. So I always get these clutches here, but first, we're going to take this out. Okay. I'm not so sure if this can be switched either way, this sun gear. So when you take it out, it looks like there is no problem, but make sure you know how it goes in. You can move this over to the side. And it has a washer in here. Okay, that washer goes underneath. So make sure you got hose on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tabs on the washer. They're going to go in just like that. Okay, so and there's a bearing right here. It goes down. Look how it looks. The area on there. And the other side is flat. This inside goes down. Down like this. Okay. That sun gear fits on it. So this is just a ring gear, and it has these 4 3 cylinder rings, excuse me, right here. So you have to deal with that also. But we're going to flip this over. What we're going to do is going to take these clutches out. And there's a snap ring here, so we're going to have to press this drum down to get the snap ring out, so we can change the piston in there. Take that snap ring out. This is the, see, these are burnt. These are burnt up. See, this is burnt. Pretty bad. So they warp too. They burnt where they make the metal pop. Okay. We're gonna take all these clutches out here. Put the snap ring around here so you keep them all together. And I'm going to take this over to the press and going to press this out or push it down so that we can change the pistons and things inside of here. Okay. Before I do that though, I'm going to just take these sealing rings off. And all I do is take a razor blade and cut them. That's it. Take a razor blade, cut those off. Now I'm going to take this over and take this out. Alright, I got this set up here already. I'll press this down so that I can get this little snap ring out. Let me move it around here. Okay, this is the snap ring. Set it here, hopefully I don't lose it. And I'll let this back up. This has that metal inside. Right around there, that's that torque converter metal. Here's the spring. And the other part is in here. You turn it upside down and smack it to get it out. Okay, you should see all that metal inside there. Yep, all that. Okay, so we're going to change this. First we're going to clean this out, wash it real good in the washer. Then we're going to put this back in, not this one. We're going to put the new one in. This is a rubber molded piston and the other one is too. So we're going to put new ones in. Put the snap ring back on. Alright, I have the new pistons, everything is cleaned up. What I'm going to do is put some lube around here so this can fit in easily. The outside and put it inside. Know what I'm using. This here, lube guard assembly lube treatment. This is some good stuff here. It allows pistons to slide in very easy. Before I used to use motor oil because motor oil is slipperier than transmission fluid. But this stuff here is slipperier than motor oil, so I've tested it against motor oil. So, pushed it down, right down in there. All right. Then you want to put some around the outside edge of this down here. You want to set the snap ring, or not snap ring, the return spring in. And when you put this in, excuse me, the fingers have to look this way. They have to be up. Don't turn it this way. Don't put it down this way. Make sure it's this way. Alright, you can be liberal with this stuff because you don't want to cut a seal. Okay, you don't want to cut a seal. You want it to slide right in there. And you take the press, you're going to push this down. Want to make sure the seal here is going down. It normally goes down okay. Alright. And you're only pushing it where you can get to that snap ring. Here's the snap ring. And put this inside. Like that. That should be able to spin around. So we got the new piston. And now we want to put in the clutches. Okay, now I took these clutches and I just dipped them in transmission fluid so they can be wet, so they wouldn't apply dry. May not be a problem if they apply dry. Now, first one you're going to use is the wavy. This is a wavy plate. Okay, so you put the wavy in, one, then a steel, then a clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, then the thick pressure plate. Then the snap ring. And that is it for loading this drum right here. All right, the next step, you already know we got this together here. I'm going to take this part right here and set it down. Now remember, look at what it looks like. Edges here, it has some protrusion. It sticks up in the middle. Okay, this fits down this way. Like that. And some grease on the plastic washer, 4 holes in the back of this planetary. Stick the tabs in the hole. Now it don't fall off when it's greased. And you can set this down and you set this one in like this. And you take the sun gear, put it in like that. Now, you have 3 rings. You got 2 choices on how to put the rings on. If you have a excuse me. If you have a sizer, you put them on solid and you size them to the right position. So you would put this on like this, and then you would take this and put it on also. You don't have to do it that way. You can cut them, and I guess I'll show you that on the 4L60. If you don't have this tool, you can cut them straight down the middle with a razor and put them on like that. But you have to make sure you have grease on there to keep them in. Okay, they'll be like butt against each other. But if you have a sizer, then I'll show you. All right, so here's the sizer. So what the rings, the new rings. You just do like this. Yeah, I don't like using this. I prefer to cut them, to tell you the truth. But it spreads them open a little. Hold it just a little. If you go too fast, it won't evaporate. So you put that in. Try to get this somehow in the middle, just a little. And you take this like this, and it starts to size it. See? Slides right under it, over it, and it's squeezing the ring in. Like that. See if I can get you a better look at that. See how I'm doing this? Okay. Okay, last one. Excuse me. Now, if these rings are bad, sometimes you get some bad rings, they won't stretch. They'll pop. It's not a good ring. They'll pop and break open. Then they're old. Good rings, they stretch. Flexible. Uh-oh, darn. I went down too far. That wasn't good. Oh, you don't want to cut that ring. It won't seal right. You have a problem. You want to have that. Okay. All right. So those are put on and they're sized. You take this whole drum here and you set it down. Now it has clutches. Remember, it have clutches on this other side, so it has those clutches got to mesh with this part right here, this carrier right here. So gotta turn it, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And when you hear that metal sound, then you're all the way down. Now the next step is this drum, okay? Now remember, I am not putting this drum in. It likes to crack. Something likes to go bad with that. So what I have is this one. This is a brand new drum. It's a loaded drum. So they load it for you. And it has everything to seal everything. Okay. I'm going to take some of this and put some of this around here. And also put some around here inside. Now this drum, if you're going to rebuild this drum, if it's a good drum, I guess you can. Sometimes I'll take it and have part of it, the inside, welded, and then I will change the pistons and things inside. But with a 6L80, I don't want to have any problems. I don't want to have any comebacks. So I get a drum that has not been stressed out. Okay? So I don't have to worry about that. Now some would take their chance, and sometime I will, but sometimes I won't. On this one, I am putting a brand new drum with brand new clutches in it. Okay? Now there's a tool that looks like this. And you put this on like this. And that is so that you can lift this up. You're gonna have to put it inside the case and twist it. So let's go back to the case. You have to twist it now, because it has some clutches that has to mesh with this set and this set down here. Here, that is appear to be all the way. All right. Now some people, before they take this stuff apart, they will use maybe a dial indicator or something here so that you know when you're down that you're at the right level and you're not too high. You can do that when you take the stator off. As long as this is down, measure here and to here. So when you get down, you know that if it's too high, that you got to go down further. Okay, so now we got this taken care of. Now we're moving on to the pump stator. Now I have the old pump stator over here, right here. Okay, this is the bell housing and the stator. Okay, well, a lot of times there's valves in here that goes bad. If you have the Sonics tool and you want to go and start reaming out the valves and fixing that, you can do it. However, when that converter blows up, it messes up the pump in there anyway. So what I've done, I get a whole stator, okay, and bell housing, okay, that's already rebuilt, so I don't have to worry about it, and I put it on. Now, if you get this and you want to go that route, it makes it quicker for you putting it together. If you want to go that route where it's already rebuilt, then you can get that from Reman Valve Body. They're in Michigan. Reman, R-E-M-A-N, Reman Valve Body. And they will send you this part out. You have to match it up. There's a code on the inside of the bell housing. You're going to have to give them that code, and they give you the whole bell housing and a stator, okay, in a box. And then you the sealing rings are on there also, which they use. I will probably take them off and use the sealing rings from in Trans-Tech, but they might use Trans-Tech sealing rings, but I want to be certain. Alright, so I'm going to get that bell housing and then we'll be putting that on. Okay, here is the box here. This is a valve body, and the reason I have this because I also got the rebuilt valve body from Reman Valve Body, and here it is, Reman.com, the Reman Valve Body. So again, so I don't have any problems with valves, hopefully. I get a valve body where valves were reamed out, oversized, tested, wherever, what have you. Now, sometimes I do it, but when I have a lot of work to do, I have to farm that work out to others who specialize in doing that. Okay, so this valve body is going on that 6L80, and here is the here's the stator that they sent. That is going to be going on the 6L80. All right. So I am going to be putting this in. They rebuild this, they put the seals in, and you know, supposedly they do whatever valves is necessary. They take care of that. So I'm going to set this over here. And then the one that I have to put back and send it back to them because they will rebuild that. And the valve body, they will rebuild that. Okay? So we'll move on to installing the stator. Now they put rings on there. Let's see here. They put the rings on the stator. So they have rings on here. I don't know which rings they use. I know I had a problem with rings from Toledo kit or a sealed aftermarket kit. So I don't use those rings. I got a kit from Transtech. I don't know what they are using here, but I'm going to take these rings off and put the ones from Transtech on. They got the black plastic washer here, so I don't have to worry about that. They have an O-ring here. I don't know if this is a new O-ring. It may be, it may not be. But I'm going to take it off and put the one from Transtech on here. Okay, this O-ring right here. So once I change these rings and then change this O-ring, then I will put it inside of the transmission case. So let's see here. They could use the better rings. They might use the better rings, but I want to be for certain. I don't want to have any problems with the rings. None whatsoever. Here are the rings here. Okay. Make sure I had the right ones here. Yep, these are they. Okay. Okay, these are the rings that came with the stator. Again, it might be Trans-Tech rings, but I'm using Trans-Tech. Okay, this is the O-ring. Alright, so again, this washer is in here, but you may want to take this off. Be careful not to break it. This has these have some tabs on there right there, and they go in a hole here and a hole here. So you want to make sure that don't fall off. That's why I took it off, because once I'm putting this in, I don't want it falling off and then causing a clearance problem. So put this back. Press it down. Now the grease keeps it down. Okay. Now, gotta make sure this O-ring doesn't walk itself back up, because it end up popping up. You don't want that. Okay. Now, the next step is I'm going to take this and set it inside the case. Let me put some lube around here. Again, you shouldn't have to do anything else to this pump, because this was a rebuilt pump and it's supposed to work. So you shouldn't have to do anything to it. Now that is all the way down. If you look on this side, look on the opposite side of the case, make sure that it's touching. This is all the way down. Now the next step is putting the bolts in. Now, when you tighten it up, check to see if it's spin. If you can spin this, then with two bolts tight, then it's all the way down. If you can't spin it, it's not all the way down. And you're going to have to take it out to see why. Maybe a washer got out of place, or a bearing, or the clutches is just not all the way, the drum's not all the way down. So it should be easy when you spin it, when these are tight. That's good. Now there's an O-ring that goes around here. You don't want to forget to put that in. The Trans-Tech is normally green. Put that on in the groove. And you might want to lubricate that. Now, when I finish this, I am going to install a billet converter. The billet converter is supposed to be stronger than the other converter, so that's why I'm going complete billet, okay? So, now we got that in. That didn't take long because you didn't have to worry about reaming out the pump. If the pump was bad because of the torque converter metal in there, you had to change it out anyway. There wouldn't be nothing you can do because it has to be resurfaced. Okay, so this is done. Now the next step is to put the valve body and other parts in. Okay, let's see how this applies here. Oh, I hear that. Okay, so you can hear that applying. We'll wait until that air conditioning go off. Perfect. Okay, it went off. Let's hear this. That's applying. That's these. That's these still. That's these applying. These here. Okay. All right. All of them are applying. Okay, that's good. All right, that's good, that's good, that's good. Now, I think that's it for me today. I'm going to finish this rest probably in the morning. And we'll start putting the valve body on.